When the monks go to the dining hall for meals, they must hop across a series of wooden posts over a pond. And the rule is simple: keep your robes dry or you don't eat. A young monk who had recently joined the monastery watched his fellow monks clear the posts with ease and figured it couldn't be that hard. But the moment he stepped onto the first post, he lost his balance and went straight into the water. He dragged himself out, soaking wet, and made a dash for the dining hall, only to be stopped at the door by an elder monk who said, "Anyone with wet robes is not allowed in." So he quickly stripped off his robes and laid them out on a stone pillar to dry. By the time his robes were dry and he finally made it inside, every last dish had been cleaned out by the other monks. All he could find was a small amount of porridge sitting in a pot. He grabbed a bowl and was about to help himself when a senior monk stopped him and said, "If you want to eat, you have to earn it." The senior monk challenged him to stand on a floating log and maintain his balance while eating the porridge. With zero experience, he couldn't hold it together. He toppled into the water, bowl and all, while the other monks standing nearby burst out laughing. That night, he made up his mind to prove himself. Once everyone had fallen asleep, he got a wooden barrel rolling across the ground and jumped on it to practice his balance. He fell over and over again, but every single time he got back up and tried again. Gradually, he got to the point where he could leap from one fast-rolling barrel to another and actually stay on his feet. The next morning, just when everyone expected him to fall into the pond again, he surprised them all. He launched himself into the air with confidence, pulled off a series of complex moves before gliding effortlessly across the pond. But the senior monk wasn't impressed for long. He immediately raised the stakes, swapping out the thick logs for a series of thin, narrow ones, obstacles that even the most skilled and experienced monks couldn't get past. Sure enough, when the young monk stepped onto the new logs, he fell in just like everyone else. And so, driven purely by the need to eat, every monk began training day and night, yet no one could crack it. At that point, the senior monk walked over to the young monk and said, "Throw your plate hard into the water." The young monk hurled it, and it sank straight to the bottom. The monk explained, "When you stomp down with force, your body sinks just like that plate. The only way to make it across is to move fast enough and carry your body's momentum forward." Then he gently tossed another plate at an angle. It skimmed lightly across the surface and reached the other side. Something clicked for the young monk. That night, he went back to the pond alone and practiced again. With every attempt, he held on to the lesson the senior monk had taught him that day. No matter how many times he fell in, he refused to give up. He failed again and again, but he kept going. And in the end, through sheer determination, he made it across those narrow floating logs. When the senior monk saw this, he told the young monk it was time for him to leave. The young monk was confused and hurt. He didn't understand why he was being sent away, but the truth was, he had already passed the test the senior monk had set for him. He had simply outgrown this place. What he didn't realize was that he had already stepped into the next chapter of his life. Have you ever pushed through something hard, only to find yourself standing at the beginning of a whole new chapter? Follow me for the next exciting part of the film.